Hello, everyone, and welcome to PowerBack's Instagram Live. Today, we are talking about how to be an advocate. So, we are so excited to have you all here. Welcome, welcome. My name is Carrie Spicer, and I am the PowerBack Program Manager. PowerBack is a peer leadership program to educate and empower teens to advocate to end abusive relationships. And we are so excited. I'm so happy to see you all today. Hello, hello. And we have my colleague Jesse who's joining us as well. So he's going to be hopping on with us to talk about how to be an advocate. If you're just joining us, send us a comment. Tell us where you are watching from, and if you have any questions or comments that you want to make, feel free to do so and put those in the chat. So hello, Jesse.
Hi, Carrie, and hello, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We have so much good information today to talk about how to be an advocate.
Yes, we do. And we thought the first place to start, the most important place to start, is getting educated. In order to be an advocate, we have to be educated on the topic. Specifically, when we talk about dating abuse, we need to be educated in understanding that the dynamics and be willing to, gain the knowledge on the topic. So here are some ways that you can start to get educated. If you can, join PowerBack at your school if the program is available. If not, if you don't have PowerBack, you can always follow us on Instagram, where you can check out other lives that we've done, like how to help a friend and what to do if you're witnessing domestic violence at home. So it's important to educate yourself, because understanding the dynamics that take place in an abusive relationship, because this is about power and control. There is an imbalance and inequality that happens in these relationships. But aside from that, there is also a personal and intimate relationship that's going on between the two parties. And we want you to be able to know what to look for, that, these things that are going on in these situations. Abusers use abuse to keep victims in the relationship. So that is why this is so important for you to understand the dynamics so you can successfully approach these types of situations. Other ways that you can also get educated is you can look at information at our website at partnershipforchange.org through the link in our bio. And you can also check out our PowerBack page, where there is a manual for all these resources and information, also through the link in our bio. Additionally, there are other resources that you can look for, like loveisrespect.org, teendvmonth.org, and other state and local organizations. So that brings me to my next point, our next topic, and that is knowing the resources.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from our viewers what you guys think it is to be an advocate, or how to be an advocate. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. But as Jesse mentioned, yes, getting educated, that is so important. And then secondly, knowing the resources. So this is really important, because it's important to know what the resources are and how to access them. Go on loveisrespect.org, familiarize yourself with the resource, know the different ways in which someone can access help. Like, for example, on loveisrespect.org, they have a hotline number, they have an online chat. You can even send a text message as well. So there are so many ways that you can access help, and knowing the information that's on the site and that's accessible to people will help you when you're sharing that information with others. So it's really important to know all the different ways and all the resources, so that you know how and where someone can get help.
Yeah, so we've talked about, getting educated and knowing the resources. And I think the next best topic to talk about is being a role model. And there are 2 points we want to make when talking about being a role model. And the first is have things to emulate. You got to see it to be it, right? It's important to have healthy relationships that you can model. Even if it's not in your immediate family, think of a relationship that you know of that you think does have healthy qualities, and use that example as a guide. The second part is, doing it yourself. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Be a healthy partner for others to learn from. Learn how to communicate your feelings in a respectful manner. Learn about yourself and what a healthy relationship could look and feel like to you. Learn and practice, social emotional skills like listening empathy, conflict resolution, accountability, and also nonviolent communication. Treat others with respect is a very important one, and this doesn't have to be just in a romantic relationship. We should always treat others with respect. Lift others up, make others feel good about themselves, build upon people's confidence, make them feel better when they're not at their best, be there for them. And also recognize the warning signs and don't ignore them. Trust your instincts and help others identify them too. So aside from that, we can also be an advocate by spreading awareness.
Yeah, and Sophie mentioned to be an advocate is to educate oneself and spread awareness using that knowledge. What a great definition you have there. Thank you so much for sharing. We love that. And we are actually going to talk about spreading awareness right now. Oh, and we have Evelyn also said to advocate is to spread awareness to others and educating yourself and others. Yes, perfect. So what is spreading awareness and how do we do it? And if you have some ideas, feel free to write them in the chat as well. But spreading awareness is so easy. It's really just about sharing the information that you learn with other people. So the more that people are knowledgeable, the more that people know about this information, the more they know about the issue, the more that it's destigmatized. And then as it's more, people know more about it, people are also willing to reach out for help more often. So the more that we spread awareness, the better off we all are. And there is always something that you can do to spread awareness in your community, in your school, or even just to your friends. We have some posts from Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month where our students had a bunch of different ideas on how to spread awareness. We had posters that we put up in the schools. We had students who participated by wearing purple. We had students who had purple ribbons. We did mass emails. So there's always a ton of different ways that you can spread awareness and lots of ideas that you can look through on our previous posts as well. But you can also check out some of our more recent posts also and share our posts and our content that we provide to other people as well. And so we can reach more people that way as well. So you can even send our page to somebody or tag them in this video so that they can see this information too. So the more that we share and the more knowledgeable people are, the more successful we are going to be at preventing abusive relationships. And so Evelyn says you can spread awareness through a conversation. Yeah, exactly. It's so easy. There's so many different ways that you can spread awareness. And Sophie says spreading awareness is using what you know and sharing it with as many people as possible. Nice. This could be done by using social media platforms or simply having conversations. Perfect. Right. You guys are awesome peer leaders, that's for sure. So one of the most important things you can do as an advocate is to speak up. Absolutely. So what does that look like?
Yeah, a lot of people have been taught that abuse in relationships it's more of a private matter. So a lot of these people ignore the behavior if they do see it happening. So we want to talk about if you do see this happening, it is your responsibility to do something about it. Whether you call the police or if you're able to have a private conversation with the victim and give them information, give them resources, or get someone else to help intervene. Do whatever you can. We're not telling you to put yourself in harm's way. We just don't, want you to be someone who ignores the situation and does nothing. Let people know that, you're concerned. Let them know that they're not alone in this situation, that there is help and there are resources for them. Get other people involved if, you can't yourself.
Yeah, and there's an example, a recent example of this was when I was on school property and I noticed a group of students, and one student in particular started yelling with a very confrontational tone about someone else that was also in the group, and then started to physically move closer to them, and they also made a physical gesture towards that individual. And so based on me observing those three actions, I called out because I was a little, they were a little far from me. And I was like, hey, everything okay? You know? And I looked directly at the person who was doing those behaviors and signaled to them that it was unacceptable, um, and it was not okay. And another student that was in the group basically then, reassured me, no, everything's okay. And I waited to ensure that the behavior had stopped before I moved on. So that's just an example of something that happens on school property that you might see, and what you can do to say something about it. Because even though you never really know what's happening, and I did say something, so just the fact that I said something sends a message that that behavior that that person was doing was unacceptable. So and along the lines of speaking up is how to help a friend. And so learning how to help a friend is so important, and it's so imperative in order to really be helpful, to help people feel ready and prepared to leave an abusive relationship. So we have done Instagram lives on the topic specifically about how to help a friend. So if you want more detailed information, feel free to check out some of our previous information. And we did also just recently post about how to help a friend. So you can check out those posts as well for some more detailed information. But overall, if you're ever questioning, like, how do I help a friend, or is this situation in need of my help? You can always call a hotline, or even help that friend and call with them, make a call to the hotline together. That would be another option as well. But learning how to help a friend is really important, because sometimes well-meaning people think that they can say things like, um, why don't you just leave? And when we ask questions starting with why, and when we say things like, why don't you just leave? We're placing the blame on that person for the behaviors that they're experiencing that someone else is doing to them, right? And so we really need to be placing the blame on the fact that that person is abusing, and that's really not the victim's fault, and not their responsibility. So it's important to know how to appropriately help a friend so that you can help them get through that process, and help them through that. So a better question would be, what's preventing you from leaving, or what's keeping you in the relationship? So it's really important to know how to appropriately approach friends so that we can support them in positive ways, that really helps to empower them to get out of those kinds of situations.
Yeah, I think those are great points to make. And the next thing that we could do is, talk about how to talk to a victim about the abuser's actions. Point out only things that you see, not what you hear from other people. Tell them how you feel about the things that you've seen, and ask them how they feel about it. Never tell a victim what to do. The abuser is usually telling them what to do all the time, and we don't want to reinforce those abusive behaviors. We want to empower them to be able to make the decisions that are best for them. Take the time to be there for the victim, be the safe space that they need, be the victim's memory. Write stuff down that they tell you in a safe way, document for them. Because documenting, write them in a notebook, or your phone, where they're not easily accessible to other people. Because documenting things a victim has told you, or things that you've seen, can go such a long way when it comes to trying to help the victim.
Yes, so true. Those are all great suggestions. And you can also learn as a friend how to help safety plan. So, because the execution of safety plans can save lives. So what is a safety plan? A safety plan is an individualized plan or tool that someone uses when they're in an abusive relationship, when they're breaking up, and then post breakup, to help keep them safe. And so you can safety plan around technology, safety plan around being in your home, or being at school, or being out in public. And it's really to ensure that that person can stay safe, that they have a support system that's accessible and available to them, so that they can escape the relationship safely and stay safe. So we now are going to do a PowerBack giveaway. So here we go. For those that are watching live with us, you have a chance to win PowerBack merch. Okay, so to win some PowerBack merch, what we need you to do is write in the chat one of the ways that you can be an advocate. One of the ways that you can be an advocate. Who is going to be the winner of our PowerBack merch? What's one way that we discussed today that you can be an advocate? Drum roll for those watching.
Yeah.
Any ideas? Any ideas? We'll take them. We'll take them. We'll give you an extra second to type it out, and I know there's always a delay. So here we are waiting. You can be an advocate by educating yourself. Yes, yes. And Evelyn for the win. Wonderful. And Evelyn, you're in one of our schools, correct? So okay, so we will have some PowerBack merch for you, Evelyn, and we will be able to send that and give that information to you. So what are the ways that we talked about? Let's go through them. So we talked about getting educated. We talked about knowing the resources. We talked about role modeling. We talked about spreading awareness, speaking up, and how to help a friend. So there is so much that you can do, and we hope that this Instagram Live helped you to think of new ways that you can be an advocate to end abusive relationships. So we wish you all safe, healthy, and respectful relationships, and we thank you so much for participating in this Instagram Live and for tuning in, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you and goodbye, everybody.
Take care, everyone.